So yes, my name is Jasmine Mbye, and I'm a keynote speaker, trainer, coach, and director of the Like Me CIC. And I know that Dee does these events, and I've been meaning to come for years. My daughter's 4, and I think I've been trying to come since I've had her. But finally I'm here today, and I'm really glad to be here today, just to share a little bit about me, my journey with each of you. And I stand here as a woman who is someone, yeah?
It's because of all of this.
Okay. Yeah. Can I stand over here? Yeah? Yeah, okay, there we go. That's better. So I stand here as a woman who has overcome many challenges. I've always managed to look okay, but if you knew what was going on underneath, it's been a completely different story. Last year I hadn't quite written it down, kind of bucket list ambition, but nonetheless it still was one, which is to do a TEDx talk. And it was called the theme for that event was Behind the Mask. And I shared what that meant for me. And for me, behind the mask meant showing up in life like I'm okay, like I'm confident, I know what I want and I can go and get it. But underneath that, feeling completely worthless, feeling desperately, your poem about love, I understand that confusion when it comes to love, because growing up for me, I knew my mum loved me. I knew she loved me, but I also knew that she struggled to love me. Because unfortunately for my mum, her childhood had its challenges, and it's that cycle thing. She had me young, so she didn't have time to work through her stuff, and so the cycle repeats. And I remember being a teenage girl saying, I never want to love. Because to me, love meant pain. Because that was my experience. Love to me was being needed, but not being fully appreciated. It was to be a punching bag, so if you have a bad day, I'm gonna get it. I remember days of thinking, what kind of mood is Mum gonna be in when she comes home from work today? Because if she'd had a bad day at work, what that could mean for me, I don't know. It could range from just being shouted and screamed at, being called names, up to me maybe forgetting to put, back in the day, raise your hands if you remember having to put the hot water switch on to make hot water come in your house, I've always been quite forgetful, and I'm not sure if it's because of the stress and the trauma or whether it's just my natural disposition, but it could be that I forgot to put the hot water switch on, so we didn't have enough hot water at the right time, which could mean I might get a punch, it could mean I get a slap, it could mean I get the belt, the buckle of the belt, it could mean I got a wooden stick, it could mean I got a metal bar. It could range in a multitude of things that I might experience. And I've never been a particularly big chick. I've always been quite petite. But I also know, my card is you are believe in yourself because you are stronger than you think. I've never actually doubted my strength, because I'm like, if I can get licks of a metal bar and I'm okay, then I'm pretty strong, right? Because that was my experience. Some of the things that I have experienced have only happened from the people that are supposed to love me the most. The only person that's ever pulled a knife on me and threatened to kill me is the person that's supposed to love me the most. The only person that's ever sucker punched me to my stomach, to where I'm gasping for breath, is the person that's supposed to love me the most. And that was my experience, but I've always learned to wear a mask and to act like I'm okay. And I think, what was it, maybe 15 years of age, by this time I'd developed mild acne, which meant it's just a reoccurring bout of spots. So I'd get the spots, I'd be on a squeezer, squeeze away, get the blemishes, just as they're going I'd get another round of spots, and it was just my cycle. And so, I'd get the usual, you don't drink enough water because you don't do this, you don't do that, and there was always something that I was or wasn't doing that was the cause. It was never just, I'm a teenager and I just happened to have mild acne. I was always doing something wrong. And I remember going to someone's workplace one day with my friend, and she would get spots too, but she didn't have mild acne. And we walked in, and my mum looked at me, and I could just see she looked at me a little bit funny. Well, okay. And so when she came home that evening, she said to me, Jazz, have you looked in the mirror? I said, yes. She said, have you seen how disgusting you look? And how do you think I feel walking down the street with you looking like that? when I tell you that my heart broke into pieces that I was unable to recover from for at least a good decade, to the point where I didn't like looking in the mirror. I had issues before then, because no one likes to have acne, spots, whatever you want to call it. No one likes to have those kind of imperfections. But to have your whole self-perception crushed like that was devastating. And that's just one of many incidents that was soul-destroying. And from that moment onwards, I had a level of self-loathing that meant I went through many years of life avoiding the mirror because I hated my reflection. And the reality is, ladies and gentlemen, I didn't look much different than I do now. And I think I look pretty good now, yeah? But, thank you. But the reality is, back then, I hated what I saw. I hated it, to the point where I only looked in the mirror twice a day. In the morning and at night, because you bathe, right? Morning and night. So I have to look in the mirror to make sure I've washed my face fine. Other than that, I really tried hard not to. And on occasion, you know when you get a little bit, oh, you know what, everyone else is looking, let me just look. And my heart would sink with disappointment at my own reflection. And now when I look at those pictures, as I said, I actually didn't look that bad. It was more about how I felt about myself than the reality of myself. And so I came in today thinking, I've got a little bit of time. I want to just share a little bit about my story. But more importantly, I wanted to leave you with something that would empower you to make a difference in your life, something that had made a difference in my life, and it's affirmations. And I don't know what you know about them. Raise your hands if you know about affirmations. Ooh, a good number of you, well done, which is great. So affirmations are statements, positive statements, that we make about ourselves. And the one of the things I've learned in life, one of the many profound things I've learned, is if you want to change the way that you think and feel about yourself, they are a fantastic way to do it. They're not a quick fix, but they work. Because, thankfully, I ended up going to a church that learned to deal with emotional healing, because I was very, very damaged. And I somehow cottoned on to the power, in this case, of biblical scripture. And so the scripture I learned is actually on the affirmations cards. I've got some of these here with me today. If you'd like one, please come and see me to grab one afterwards. Thanks, lady. And the affirmation, I call it an affirmation, scripture that I learned to say was, I am, the old King James Version Bible is, I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. But I'm exceptionally and wonderfully made. And I went through a phase of committing that, to saying it morning and night, every day. And then when I had those moments of looking in the mirror thinking, oh dear God, why? I would say it to rebut those negative thoughts and feelings that I had about myself. And in due course, one day, I remember looking in the mirror thinking, ain't too bad, you know? You're kind of all right. And then we build, because we start and we grow in stages. You know, I went from okay, pretty good, good, so now I'm just like, God, you did well. You know, you did well, because we are all his masterpiece. And we should be able, therefore, to look in the mirror and celebrate ourselves and the unique beauty that we each and every one of us possess. And it took time, but ladies and gentlemen, I got there. And now, when I stand and when I speak and when I share, I don't come from a place of needing your affirmation, because I've given it to myself. And it's amazing when you stand in that place of sharing without needing any kind of adulation. And don't get me wrong, there's a difference between feedback and affirmation or validation. Feedback, I still need feedback. All of us need feedback. But not that we need others to affirm and validate our existence. That is separate. And that's where we enter into relationships and we're in spaces and places that become very dangerous. Because now I value myself based on what you think about me, as opposed to what I know to be true about me, and then maybe moderating it based on the feedback that I'm receiving. So I encourage you today, if you haven't been practicing affirmations because you didn't know what they were, I've got a card, come and grab it. Practice saying them morning and night. If you know about them but haven't committed to saying them day in and day out, I urge you, do it, because it makes a difference to your life. And I'll leave you with this. Life We are like onions. You peel back one layer and you just unravel another thing you need to work on, right? So I got through that and I've had many other challenges along the way, but affirmations remain something that has consistently in my life enabled me to find the true power within me and to manifest it. And so I encourage you to do the same. And I said the last thing, really, this is going to be my last thing, right? Because I just want to end with affirmations was something that I used to speak a lot about, and that was all I spoke about until I met someone last year who said, actually, it's about the actions that you take. And I was like, yeah, but the problem with that is we're predominantly women in this room, and it's something that affects women more than men, which is imposter syndrome. You can take action, but if you're not affirming yourself to develop your belief system, the actions don't really matter because you just feel like a fraud. So that challenged me, but it just challenged me to develop my AAA method that I will leave with you. The first A is the affirmations. That is to change your foundation and your belief system. But build on that with your, second A, your actions. You then need to commit to actions that will manifest your affirmations. And my third A that I'm going to leave you with today is your accountability. No one is an island, and we were not designed to be in isolation. The people that get picked off and knocked out are the ones that stand alone. You've got to be able to do it, but that's not where we flourish. We flourish in relationships, right relationships. So I encourage you, first of all, be affirming. Secondly, be taking action. And thirdly, be accountable to those that have wise counsel, not foolish people. And on that note, I say thank you very much.
Thank you, Jasmine. Has anybody got any questions for Jasmine?
I want a card, just then, and I want to swap with you. Mine, I just picked up your beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. And I wasn't trying to, sometimes you're begging, I wasn't begging, but I'll take it. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Hi Teresa, how are you?
Fine, thank you. What is your relationship with your mother now?
Oh, I do get that question. Do you know what? We get on, but it has been a turbulent one in that we've managed to get on without dealing with the issues. And I'm sure some of you can relate to that, where you just can't go there. And the reality is you can't go there. And for many years it was difficult because my mum did not acknowledge the damage that she created in my life. And she would say things like, why do you want to be a victim? Why are you making out like it's that bad? However, to my best defense is what I understood that my mum was coming from a place of, she never intended on damaging me, and it was too much for her to really accept and bear. She couldn't deal with it. And something that we can all benefit from, when people hurt you, they normally move on. They don't stay there thinking, oh my God, I hurt her so badly. So half the stuff I'm talking about, she's forgotten. She doesn't remember, but because it devastated me, I don't forget. And I don't mean I live in it every day, but I just mean I don't forget it. It's there, I can recall that. So we get on, but I mean, I'm now, don't guess my age, but they're just gonna say I'm not in my 20s. And my mum, last year, and we're talking about, this is decades later, just last year went, Jazz, I think you're right. I think I was so focused on my own pain, I didn't see the pain that I was causing you. That took so long. But it took for me to be bold enough to challenge my mum and say, you've never acknowledged it. You have continued to act as if you have not hurt me, and you have. And not from a place of bitterness, just from a point of, that is my truth and I'm gonna speak it. And I'd given up on waiting for her to acknowledge it even. I'd let that go because, as I said, you can't wait for other people's validation. I know what happened. And it's that. But yeah, now we're there. Thank you for asking that.
Thank you. Inspirational. Absolutely inspirational.
Oh, is there another question?
Have I got a gun?
So I'm living on my own now.
Yeah.
Jasmine, and I met this lady, I'm like, you know, a bit of a whirlwind, doing so many different things, and then all of a sudden, you know, something goes off the radar, and you might be getting on with your life, and then all of a sudden you're like, hang on a minute, I'm not seeing something, whether it be on social media or what have you, and literally went
Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I messaged you.
Yeah, you're one of the few people that reached out to me to say, "Are you okay?" And that was a time when life's full of cycles, folks. So we had the childhood issues and then came the adulthood ones. So what Dee's talking about was my complete and utter, how am I going to term this? Life falling into depths that I never imagined, where I left my husband with my 2-year-old daughter because I was like, oh my God, my marriage is abusive. And that realization. And so I stepped away, left him to work on myself and to make sure that I could be the example that I really wanted my daughter to have, and so that she could see an example that was healthy, because ours was not a healthy model for her. And Dee, one of the people that was like, where is she? And just sent a message on social media. And yeah, that was what I was going through at that time. And so I just did what I needed to do, because sometimes we just got to take time for ourselves. And that's what led me to start talking about my 3 R's, which is we need to recover, reconnect and rise. And I was in my recovery phase then. Yeah.
I've got a question. So do you go out doing public speaking? What do you do? Do people, can they contact you?
Yeah, so I do public speaking. This week was a busy one. I was at the PA show, I was at the British Survival Conference, I've been doing podcasts, so yeah, I do a lot of stuff. Thank you for asking that question as well, because one of the things that we will be doing here at Marshall Futures House is a hybrid wellbeing course actually, and it's going to be a free course because it's funded. So for any of you that are wanting to work on your well-being, please definitely come and see me and grab one of these cards. It's, as I said, hybrid, so we'll be doing some in-person sessions as well as we've done virtual, and support sessions built in. And off the top of my head, I can't remember, but I think it's a 3 or 6 month program that it's kind of will be running for. And so yeah, it'll be taken by myself, along with having some experts come in. But we deliver training programs as well, as like the one I've mentioned. And what I also have on this affirmations card, on the back of it, is the Empowered Score Test, which is a free test that you can take online just to get some feedback. How empowered are you? How are you showing up in your life? And then I offer a one-to-one complimentary where we can discuss the results and see if maybe there's some support that we can offer you. So, like I said, feel free to come and grab one of those and then we can connect.
Thank you. Thank you.
Just who you are, what you do, and this is all about supporting each other. So that's whether you're a woman, a man, whoever, it's all about support. So just tell the guys what you do.
Okay, so my name is Sharon Leonardis and I'm from Bedford, and I set up an organisation called SpectaculArts, which was all about bringing different communities together through the arts, through dance, theatre, arts and music, and of course, food. I'm a true believer, if we can understand each other through art, through food, we have a better understanding, we will have more tolerance. And we're all good about staying in our own group, but the way that we learn and grow is if we mix with others and learn what they do. So it's about what we have in common to keep us connected. And that's how I met the lovely Dee. Dee's energy, now I thought I had energy, but this woman, she had energy with sorrow, wine and everything. So, COVID's hit and we've all had the chance to kind of disconnect, to be at home and to be and to sit. Then we have the next incident, which was the George Floyd murder. So it got me to thinking, how are we still in a place where my skin can make people think different things? They don't see past my colour. I need people to see me, I need people to see you without judging us from our skin. So as an organisation, and trust me, COVID was good for one thing, it sat my backside down in one place and it gave me time to think. So with my colleagues, we started to think, so how are we really going to get people to understand where we're coming from? And what we need to do is go back and address the past, address the misinformation that has put labels on us unfairly. And how we looked at that, we thought about other persecuted minorities, particularly the Jewish community, where they lost 6 million people. They have an international day, right? where everybody in the world stops and remembers, where is our day? So we were doing the research. The day is there. It's been there since 2007. And now that I found it, I'm making it my life's mission to tell everybody. This date was set by United Nations and international observers in 2007. The date is the 25th of March every year. So our mission as an organisation is SpectaculArts, to make sure we tell everybody, tell your friend, tell your grandfriend, so we tell everybody. But what we're doing in Bedford, and I'm going to be joining Dee. Dee's going to be joining me. She don't know this yet, but she's joining me. That we are raising awareness to this, and we are planning a celebration concert to honour the 15 million that lost their lives over 400 years, and we are still, to this day, are working on the repercussions from them.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you. So, the event that we're calling it, Eyes See You. Not just the colour of my skin, I see you. So when I say, I see you, I mean I see every slave that lost their lives. So when we collectively say, our eyes see you, we are honouring those that were there in the past, that set the way. So that's all I'm asking, for you to join us on the 25th of March every year. The first event will be started in Bedford, and you're only down the road. If I can make it here, you can make it there. Just saying. But then I'm sure I will be working with Dee to make sure we have an event here in Luton. So we are planning a celebratory concert. Now, my background is also dance. I used to run a dance company, and I have several professionals now that are joining us, that are putting together a fantastic choreographed piece that really tells the story of us uniting, us working together. This is about celebrating unity in the community. And because history has been so airbrushed that we've forgotten the stories of people coming together to stop slavery. So it's time for us to honour those that lost their lives. We are here today, but it's for us never to forget. So this is Sharon.
Okay, so this poem is called A Woman's Worth. A woman's worth is more than what meets the eye. You are strong, caring, and exceptionally kind. From a little girl with passion, you inspire the next generation. You not only share your wisdom, but rise above emotions. Please remember to speak kindly to your inner self. You are you and no one else. It's time to celebrate all women, wives, mothers, sisters, and survivors. You sow the seed that creates a legacy, standing perfectly, yet so imperfect that you radiate so majestically. Tell the women close to your heart today how much they mean to you, because we surely wouldn't be here right now without you.